Well, okay. George Jaffe, my colleague with the business desk here at Joy News, well, he doesn't join me on the phone. He joins me in studio with much more on this particular one. So, George, this ruling, what does it mean for our partners? We have a number of partners operating in that.
We have Tullow Oil, we have GMPC, we have Petro SA, and then Cosmos Energy working on the 10, that is the Chinebwa Enyaran Tome field, that is 20 miles away or a few miles away from the Jubilee field. And now the 10 field is our second biggest oil field apart from the Jubilee field. It has the capacity of about 2 billion barrels of crude oil and has the potential to produce about 80,000 barrels a day. So that's just a fair idea. Now, many people were worried about this ruling and the implications for commercial production on the field. What we have picked up, or looking at the statement that was issued by Tullow, is that they can still go ahead. Now, they are saying that they need about 10 oil wells to actually work on production. Now, these wells, when you dig deep into the seabed, let's just say for the layman, these are normal holes that you dig because there's this wealth or this crude under the seabed. So you dig these wells, you connect those pipes beneath the sea wells to the FPSO to extract the raw crude. So as we speak right now, let me just say for the layman, those holes have been dug already, those 10 wells, which has the capacity to produce about 80,000 barrels of crude oil a day. Now, for Tullow, they are saying that when they start pouring first oil from the middle of 2016, they will first start with 20,000 barrels of crude oil, and then they should move it up to 80,000 barrels of oil a day. So for them, the surety to you and I is that don't worry, because the ruling said don't dig new wells, but you can still continue to work on existing wells. So for those 10 wells, they can put in those pipes, extract the crude to the FPSO to help production of oil in commercial quantities. But again, when you look at the plan of development for the 10th field, they're supposed to be working on 24 oil wells. So what happened to the 14 remaining wells? What Tullow is also saying again, that the plan was that really we were going to work on these wells after 2017, when by that time we should have a final ruling on this. So they are saying that it wouldn't affect production in any way for first oil or the next commercial oil production from the Jubilee field because of this ruling. Are sure that we would get the oil come next year. They are far advanced in works, and we are short of commercial oil from the field. Is the situation same for the other partners who operate within the same Tullow is like this? Let's just say Tullow is the head prefect there. Tullow is the leader there. Tullow is leading all those contractors who are working on that field. So most of the time, they speak for all the other partners. So if Tullow is saying that this will happen, there's no need to doubt or to also go and find out from the other partners what that means. But Tullow, as the lead operator here, the lead prophet here, the leader among all those who are extracting oil on the 10th field. So if they speak, often they speak for all the partners. But nothing stops us if we still think that we need more information to speak to Anadako, speak to GMPC, speak to Petro SA to get further details on the way forward. I see. Now, this ruling by the ITLOS, we are told is already beginning to bring some shake up in, let's say, is it the London Stock Exchange? I think the share price of Tullow is interesting, and that's for share price. It was about how investors will react, because again, don't forget, the 10th field is going to cost us about, cost Tullow about $6 billion to work on the field, building the FPSO, that is the ship that will be used, or the vessel that will be used to extract the oil, process the crude oil, and export them. And don't forget that these partners work in a way that they always go to financiers, commercial banks, shareholders to raise capital to invest in this business. So everybody was wondering how the investors are going to react to this. The stock market opened today in London, and it was good news. The share price shot up by 8%. Oh, really? As we speak right now, it's the other way. It has started declining. Before I came on, it's gone down by 2%. It's interesting. Again, what are these shareholders or investors seeing that they have now started reacting negatively? Because he opened on a good note. Is it normal? Before the ruling, it went down by about 6%. So it is interesting, and again, it is not good because Tullow will be going out to seek additional capital to fund the project. If some investors are still not convinced about the happenings of this court ruling and the fact that don't dig new wells and despite all these assurances, then we should be worried about the cost of borrowing for Tullow going forward, because they need this money to build the FPSO. Well, some also say that, well, they've already secured the commitment from the investors, so no big deal. But don't forget, this is a financing arrangement that is work in progress. The cost of that borrowing could shoot up. And what would that mean for Tullow? Because don't forget that they are paying taxes to government. If their costs should shoot up, it could affect the taxes that they pay to government. Again, it could also affect the project going forward, whether some other advance or plans that they have for the field, as in doing more of a robust field, building very extensive structure, could be affected or not. So it's interesting how these investors are reacting, and if development on the London Stock Exchange is anything to go by, well, let's wait and see whether it's a sign of good things to come, and whether these investors are not assured by the statement that have been put out. Again, there's a statement by government also that has also said that investors who are working on this field, you are assured. Don't forget, apart from the 10th project, there's another one being worked on by Hess, and they've also dug most all the wells already. But how these engineering thing or exploration goes about is that, well, maybe I have dug 1 or 2 wells already. I think that other well that I have dug might not be sufficient. I need to do another well to help sustain the production. What will happen to that? So again, it's an interesting ruling, and we would hope that these assurances that are being put out could convince the investors out there to still finance this project, even though some would say the commitment has been sought already. The continuous financing will be very, very critical for Tullow going forward, as well as the whole development of the 10 oil field.
The 10 oil field. Thank you very much, George Afe. George Afe is my colleague here at Joy News. He's with the business deck, and anyway, he brought quite a number of things to the table, you know. But we're taking a quick break here. We'll be back with a lot more news. Stay on.